Justin.
He's early.
Now, where's my?
If someone speaks for a lobby session, it's the wireless.
I think that's what she said.
I totally forgot.
Okay.
I think it's wireless.
Either that or floor plate, but I don't know. Good evening, everybody. Calling to order the North Ridgeville City Council meeting. Today's Monday, July 25th, 2023. If you could please rise for the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance. Father, as we begin our meeting, we ask you to guide us so that we may have the ability to judge what is important, meaningful, and purposeful. We also ask for the gift of understanding and the ability to be good decision makers. We thank you, as always, for the opportunity to represent the people of North Ridgeville, and we ask you to watch over and keep our community safe. And we pray these things in your name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, please call the roll.
Swank.
Here.
Boos.
Boos is excused.
Abens.
Here.
Winkle.
Here.
Awig.
Here.
DeVries.
Here.
Jacobs.
Here.
Mr. Mayor.
Here.
Law Director.
Here.
Engineer.
Here.
Finance Director. Clerk of Council. Here.
Tonight, under the approval of minutes, we have the City Council meeting minutes dated July 10th, 2023. Are there any changes or corrections to those minutes? Hearing none, the minutes are approved as originally submitted. We also have the public hearing meeting minutes dated July 10th, 2023. Are there any changes or corrections to those minutes? Again, hearing none, the minutes are approved as originally submitted. Note that council has also received the Building and Lands Committee meeting minutes dated June 19th, 2023, the Board of Zoning and Building Appeals meeting minutes dated June 22nd, 2023, the Park and Recreation Commission meeting minutes dated June 28th, 2023, the Streets, Sidewalks, and Bridges Committee meeting minutes dated July 10th, 2023, as well as the Civil Service Commission meeting minutes dated July 11th, 2023. Brings us to our lobby session. In a moment, I will open the lobby session, and as a reminder to those here in council chambers this evening, while the lobby session is, in the interest of time, is not meant to be an interactive question and answer session. It is an opportunity for the public to address both city council as well as the administration. We do ask that anybody wishing to speak, please speak from the podium and begin by stating your name and address, at which time you will be allowed up to 3 minutes to address council or the administration regarding any matters pertaining to the business of city council or the general affairs of the city. So at this time, the lobby session is now open. Is there anybody who wishes to address council this evening? All right, seeing none, the lobby session is now closed, and at this time we will move on to administrator's report. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. President. On tonight's agenda, we'll ask for the emergency on T75, a resolution renaming the soccer complex on Root Road to the Root Road Park. And that is because we are undergoing a sign program, as you're aware, and we want to order the correct sign. So we're going to ask for the emergency so we can do that. And then T76, we've passed ordinances in the past about disposing of vehicles. The company that we used to use, which is listed in the ordinance, is Greater Cleveland Auto Auction. They're no longer in business. Now it is Mannheim Cleveland, and we're going to ask for the emergency clause on T76, so that way we can dispose of those vehicles as we intended to, but now with the correct entity that will be doing that. At this point, I will make the motion to dispense or to suspend the bylaws and to introduce T77 and T78 to be placed on first readings.
Second.
It was moved by the mayor and seconded by Winkle to suspend the bylaws and add both T77 and T78 to tonight's agenda under first readings. Clerk, please call the roll.
Swank,
Yes.
Abens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Awig,
Yes.
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Great. The street department will be milling Learnagle Road between Center Ridge and Mills. It's scheduled to happen tomorrow morning, and it'll be closed. That section of the road will be closed from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. through traffic. It'll be local access only. They will need to close that road again when they're doing the paving, and all of this is in an attempt to keep our employees safe as they're doing that work. So there'll be detours that'll be up and posted. I think the signs are already out. So if you're looking to go that direction, use Jaycox instead. Coffee and Conversation scheduled on Wednesday, August 2nd. It's a morning session. The last one was an evening session, which turned out to be pretty great. And so I'm hoping that the next one will be as well. We have our summer concert series. We've had several cancellations due to inclement weather. The next concert is scheduled for Sunday, August 6th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. It'll be Funkology, which plays the sounds of Motown to country, disco to classic rock. So pretty much everything. Concerts are free. Take your own food and your own chairs and blankets and enjoy the park. 3 of those concerts, as I mentioned, were canceled because of weather conditions. They have been rescheduled into August and September. Check out the city's website for new dates. And, Mr. President, I am requesting executive session. I'll make the motion to go into executive session to consider the purchase of property, both real and personal, tangible or intangible, as the reason.
Second.
It was moved by the mayor and seconded by Winkle to go into executive session for the reasons stated by the mayor. Clerk, please call the roll.
Swank,
Yes.
Abens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Awig,
Yes.
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
The motion carries unanimously to go into executive session.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we will adjourn into executive session. Everybody back? All right, we are back in regular session. Mr. Mayor, continue with your report.
Mr. President, that is the end of my report. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Mrs. Engineer.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just 2 items. D2 Excavating has been awarded the catch basin repair project for just under $85,000. This work will include repairs to over 35,000, excuse me, 35 catch basins throughout the city. Some good news, ODOT recently granted our request for additional safety funds for the State Route 83 and Chestnut Ridge Road roundabout to help cover some additional costs we had for design and right-of-way acquisition, totaling more than $200,000. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Ms. Finance Director.
Thank you, Council President. Just a small note, the Finance Department has distributed the June 2023 financial report to Council. That report is available for public review on the City of North Ridgeville's website. And that concludes my report.
All right, very good, thank you. In addition to the June 2023 financial report, Council is also in receipt of the June 2023 Parks and Recreation Division report, the June 2023 Water Distribution and EPA report, and the June 2023 Mayor's Court report. We do have one council committee report on tonight's agenda. Clerk, please read the Street, Sidewalks, and Bridges Committee report.
The Streets, Sidewalks, Bridges Committee report dated July 10th, 2023. The committee reviewed and considered T67-2023. The committee made a motion to send T67-2023 back to City Council for consideration.
I move that we accept.
It was moved by Awig and seconded by Winkle to accept the Streets, Sidewalks, and Bridges Committee report. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say yes.
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 All opposed say no. All right, the report has been accepted. There's no correspondence or old business on tonight's agenda. Under new business, we do have one item. Clerk, if you could please read the Planning Commission action taken at its regular meeting of July 11th.
The PPZ 2023-0204 Eagle Meadow, Sugar Ridge Road, Bender Road, permanent parcel number 07-00-047-000-111. Proposal consists of final approval for the subdivision of which includes 41 single-family units, 26 cluster units for a total of 67 units. Property zoned R1 Residence District. Planning Commission granted preliminary approval on December 14th, 2021. Planning Commission action approved by a vote of 4-0 with the following conditions. The final plat shall include all details as required by the chief building official. The landscape plan shall be updated to note how the common open spaces will be treated to ensure that the final condition has a finished appearance. Number 3, the proposed entrance sign shall be set back a minimum of 10 feet from the right-of-way as required by the zoning code. Number 4, in lieu of constructing the Sugar Ridge Road sidewalk, the city will accept a fee in lieu of a payment in the amount equivalent to its construction, specifically provided for the future connectivity along the property. Number 5, modify the T-turnaround at the end of Chandler Way in accordance with the city engineer's recommendation. Number 6, modify the landscape placement nearest the Bender/Sugar Ridge intersection to account for the future roundabout.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Abens.
I will move to approve along with the PC actions of the 6 recommendations.
Second.
Was that DeVries? Yeah, okay. It was moved by Abens and seconded by DeVries to approve the Planning Commission's approval of Eagle Meadow. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swank,
No.
Abens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Awig,
Yes.
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
The motion carries 5-1.
All right, hearing no additional new business brought forth this evening, we'll move on to recess.
Mr. President, move to dispense with recess.
Second.
It is moved by Winkle and seconded by Swank to dispense with recess. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. Recess has been dispensed. We will move on to first readings. Clerk, please read T75.
T75-2023, a resolution renaming the Root Road Soccer Complex to the Root Road Park.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
move to dispense with the second and third readings.
Second.
It was moved by the mayor and seconded by Winkle to dispense with the second and third readings for T75. Are there any comments or questions at this time?
Mr. President, as I mentioned earlier, it's just to secure the proper name for the sign order that we are going through at this point in time.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Any additional comments or questions? All right, hearing none, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no.
Mr. President, move to adopt.
Second.
Mr. President, move to add an emergency clause for reasons stated by the mayor.
Second.
It was moved by Winkle and seconded by Awig to add the emergency clause to T75 for the reasons stated by the mayor. On the emergency clause alone, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. It was then moved by Winkle and seconded by Awig to adopt T75 with the emergency clause in place. Are there any comments or questions at this time?
Mr. President, I
Yes,
should
Mr.
have
Mayor.
mentioned this earlier, but remember, this was a name change that was requested on behalf of the Park and Rec Department. There was public feedback. The name was chosen. The name was accepted by the Park and Rec Commission, and that's where we're at.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Any additional comments? All right, hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swink,
Yes.
Abens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Awig,
Yes.
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously and becomes ordinance number 1601-2023.
I believe it's a resolution.
Resolution, thank you.
All right, T76.
T76-2023, an ordinance amending ordinance number 6082-2023, which authorized the disposal of vehicles and equipment no longer needed for municipal purposes by changing the company the city was doing business with from Greater Cleveland Auto Auction to Manheim, Cleveland.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
move to dispense with the second and third readings.
Second.
It was moved by the mayor and seconded by Swank to dispense with the second and third readings for T76. Are there any comments or questions?
Mr. President, as you may remember, we did pass an ordinance to dispose of some city vehicles, and this is just a name change of the company that is now in business to dispose of those vehicles. So we're just looking to move this along.
All right, very good, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. Any additional comments? Again, the motion was made by the mayor, seconded by Swank to dispense with the second and third readings for T76. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mrs. Swank.
move to adopt.
Second.
Mr. President, move to add the emergency clause for the reasons stated by the mayor.
Second.
It was moved by Swank and seconded by Awig to add the emergency clause to T76 for the reasons stated by the mayor. On the emergency clause alone, all in favor say yes.
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 All opposed say no. It was then moved by Swank and seconded by Awig to adopt T76 with the emergency clause in place. Are there any comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swink,
Yes.
Abens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Awig,
Yes.
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
The motion carries unanimously and becomes ordinance number 6085-2023.
T77.
T77-2023, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a 5-year lease agreement for the multifunction printers for the City of North Ridgeville municipal offices to use a vendor from the State of Ohio Cooperative Purchasing Program bids, or to advertise for bids and enter into a contract with an outside vendor according to law and in a manner prescribed by law.
T78.
T78-2023, an ordinance amending ordinance number 6040-2023 regarding the sludge hauling by increasing the amount from $260,000 to $400,000 annually.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
move to dispense with the second and third readings.
Second.
It was moved by the mayor and seconded by Winkle to dispense with the second and third readings for T78. Are there any comments or questions?
Yes, Mr.
President.
President.
Go ahead.
Question for the mayor. Could we have a description as to why the increase from 260 to 400,000?
Sure, I have several. Normally, we spend about this 400,000. We have spent it last year and prior years. We used to do a lot of work with Quasar, and if you remember when we were going through the budget process, we were switching vendors, and so we were switching over to AgriSludge, and we were anticipating that we were going to be able to save some money. So actually, the 260 was just a reduction from what we normally spent. AgriSludge is still involved, but we're having some problems with farmers this time, or they're having problems, not us. But normally they accept the sludge that we send down, and the process is smooth. But this time it's not. And there's a variety of reasons why. I could bore you to death and talk about sludge for the next 6 hours. But it is just, it's not, the farmers are not able to move as fast as we need for the sludge to be spread out through the farmers' fields. So we're having to take it to the dump instead. And the dump fees are higher than spreading it on farmers' fields, which is why we're asking for this increase. We've already spent quite a bit on hauling it to the dump right now. There's still a chance that we can use farmer fields coming up in the next month or so. And so there's a possibility that we might not spend the 400,000, and AgriSludge is still part of that process, like I said. But if we still have to go to the dump, then we're going to need more money. And that's where this comes through. So originally, we were trying to save money. We're not sure if we're going to be able to save the money that we were projected to. So we're just going back to the default number that we've used in the past. That's all.
Right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. DeVries, is there any additional, or are there any additional questions or comments?
Mr. President,
Yes, Mrs. Swink?
for clarification purposes for the public, this is sludge that comes from the wastewater treatment plant, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mrs. Swink, any additional comments or questions? Again, it was moved by the mayor and seconded by Winkle to dispense with the second and third readings for T78. Here, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no.
Mr. President, move to adopt.
Second.
Mr. President, move to add an emergency clause for reasons stated by the mayor so we could continue processing our sludge.
Second.
It was moved by Winkle and seconded by Awig to add the emergency clause to T78 for the reasons stated by Mr. Winkle. On the emergency clause alone, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. It was then moved by Winkle and seconded by Awig to adopt T78 with the emergency clause in place. Are there any additional comments or questions at this time? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swank,
Yes.
Abens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Awig,
Yes.
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
The motion carries unanimously and becomes ordinance number 6086-2023.
We do not have any second readings on tonight's agenda. We have a couple of third readings. Before we move on to the third readings, I will actually make a motion to suspend the bylaws to only read both T60 and T69 by title only.
Second.
It was moved by Jacobs and seconded by Swank to suspend the bylaws and read T60 and T69 by title only. As you guys are aware, our bylaws indicate that when legislation pertains to zoning code, that we are to read it in its entirety. So this is, we're making the motion to read by title only tonight. All in favor say yes.
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 All opposed say no. All right. Clerk, if you could please read T60.
T60-2023, an ordinance providing for the replacement of Chapter 1286 signs of the North Ridgeville Planning and Zoning Code.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mrs. Swink.
move to adopt.
Second.
It was moved by Swink and seconded by Abens to adopt T60. Is there any discussion?
Mr. President,
Yes, Mrs. Swink?
do we need to do this on emergency? Is there anything pending that's important?
Because it's zoning, we cannot do
Okay.
emergency.
Thank you.
Any additional comments or questions? Again, the motion was made by Swank and seconded by Abens to adopt T60. Clerk, please call the roll.
Swank,
Yes.
Abens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Awig,
Yes.
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously and becomes ordinance number 6087-2023.
T69?
T69-2023, an ordinance amending Chapter 1292, nonconforming uses of the North Ridgeville zoning code.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mrs. Swink?
move to adopt.
Second?
The motion was made by Swank and seconded by Abens to adopt T69. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swank,
Yes.
Abens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Awig,
Yes.
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
The motion carries unanimously and becomes ordinance number 6088-2023.
Upcoming meeting announcements. The next regular city council meeting will be held on Monday, August 7th, 2023 at 7 p.m. here in city council chambers. Do any members of the council or the administration have any final comments this evening? All right, thank you, everybody. This meeting is adjourned.